Welcome to the Autism Info Center's Autism Infocast with your host, Peter Clark.
Hi, I'm Peter Clark, and I started the Autism Info Center with two goals in mind. First, if you're autistic, I'll help you understand yourself a bit better and show you some ways to live a happier, more satisfying life. Second, if you're not autistic, I'll help you understand what autism is, what it isn't, what it's like to be autistic, and how you can help autistic people everywhere. So let's get straight into it.
Hi everyone. We often talk about awareness when it comes to autism, but awareness is actually just a starting point. What we really need is connection. If you have an autistic friend or a colleague or a family member, you might sometimes feel a bit unsure about the best way to support them. You might worry about saying the wrong thing or misinterpreting a behaviour. So the title of this video is Helping Autistic People Be Part of Your World. But if I'm honest, it's really about how we can all share one world more comfortably. So today I'm going to give you some very practical advice, simple if this, then that scenarios, to help you navigate these interactions with a bit more confidence and great kindness. So let's start with how we talk. For many autistic people, language is literal. For example, if you say, pull your socks up to mean work harder, an autistic person might literally look at their ankles. So here's the practical tip. Say exactly what you mean. Don't use idioms, figures of speech. So instead of saying, I'm tied up at the moment, rather try saying, I'm sorry, I'm busy for the next 20 minutes, but I can talk after that. Also remember the 10-second rule. An autistic brain often needs a little longer to process verbal information. You need to give them that tiny little extra slice of time to not only hear you, understand what you've said, interpret what you've said, but then also formulate their opinion and their response and get the answer back to you. So the next thing is, if you ask a question and you get silence back, which happens quite often, respond by waiting. Don't jump in. Don't try to answer the question for them. Don't try to complete their sentences. Don't repeat your question or rephrase it just yet. Count to 10 in your head. It feels like an eternity. It really does. But in a real conversation, that space is a huge gift to them. It allows the person to process the sound, turn it into meaning, find the words to reply. So social rules are the next area where we're going to look at. Social cues are a problem for autistic people. The social rules are unwritten. Everybody learns these things as they go through life, but autistic people most often don't know the social rules. They've never learned them. It's just the way they are. So now these can be absolutely exhausting. Take eye contact, for example. If an autistic person isn't looking at you while you speak, you need to respond by continuing to talk normally. Don't ask them to look at me. For many of us, forced eye contact is actually distracting, and it can, believe it or not, even be physically painful. By looking away, they might actually be hearing and understanding you much better. So if you see someone stimming, which might be flapping hands or rocking or clicking a pen, all you have to do is respond by ignoring the movement and focusing on the person. These are self-regulating behaviours. They help people keep themselves calm internally. Because the world is often too loud or too bright or too stimulating for an autistic person, stimming helps them stay calm and focused. So unless they're hurting themselves, there's really no need to intervene. Just let them be and carry on as normal. Another thing you're going to find with autistic people is they have very direct interests, and you might need to exit a conversation in a way that doesn't offend them. Let me explain what I mean. So you've probably noticed that many autistic people have special interests, topics they know inside out. We sometimes call sharing this passion info dumping. If an autistic person starts sharing a huge amount of information with you, the best response you can give is by listening. It's a sign they trust you. However, we know that social cues for ending conversations, like checking your watch or shifting your feet or looking at the door, those can be easy to miss for autistic people. They don't always know exactly when it is you need to leave. So here's how you do it. If you need to leave the conversation, respond directly but kindly. Say exactly what you mean. Like, I've really enjoyed hearing about this, but I have to go to a meeting now. Please, can we talk more another time? It isn't rude. It's actually very helpful to be clear so the person doesn't have to guess what you're thinking. So that leads us on to managing the environment when you're talking to someone who's autistic. See, the world is built for neurotypical sensors. Fluorescent lights, noisy cafes, clocks ticking, these can all feel a bit like a physical assault to someone who's autistic. However, if you're planning a meeting or a catch-up, the best way to do it is to give choices. So instead of saying, let's meet at the pub, try asking, well, would you prefer a quiet cafe, or would you prefer to meet in the park? Or hell, we can even just meet in the car. Giving someone control over their sensory environment is a massive act of support, and it will be appreciated. Remember, socializing isn't autopilot for autistic people. It's like running a really heavy piece of software that drains your software and your battery fast. It's something that fills your brain constantly. So you need to try and give them an environment where they're not processing everything else all at once, and they've got more time, energy, and attention to focus on you and what you've got to say, and to be present in the conversation. If an autistic person leaves an event early or even goes quiet for a few days, which often happens, the way to respond is to give them a bit of space without a guilt trip. So instead of asking, why did you disappear? Maybe ask, well, it was great to see you. I hope you're having a good rest. When will I see you again? This removes the pressure from them to perform and makes it much easier for them to join in future, because they now know that you understand the problem and that you're willing to work with them. The other thing that really affects autistic people when they're in social situations or fairly intense work situations is energy levels. The whole idea here is that you must try and lower the overall energy level of a situation. It may be serious, but keep it calm. So sometimes, despite everyone's best efforts, a person might become overwhelmed. So this situation is a little bit dangerous because it can lead them into a meltdown, which is an outward burst of distress. Or, worse still, it can lead them into a shutdown, where they perhaps become non-verbal and withdrawn from the situation. You won't get anything out of them at all. So if someone's experiencing a meltdown or a shutdown, the first thing you do to respond is reduce the noise. Well, not literally the noise. You reduce the amount of stuff that's going on. Perhaps turn down the lights. Stop asking questions. Stop making demands. Give them a safe, quiet space. You don't need to fix it in the moment. You just need to be a calm presence, one that's not intruding on what's already going on in their brain. So once the storm passes, which it will do once the room is calm, they will appreciate that you stayed with them without judgment. That will lead to greater trust and a kinder way of supporting autistic people. Now, at the end of the day, every autistic person, this is important, they are a person first. They are autistic second. That means kindness and compassion and humanity are the keys to dealing with autistic people. We all have different preferences. So if you're not sure how to help them, respond by just asking, is there anything I can do to make this easier for you? Or maybe think of some alternatives that might help, like, would you prefer a seat facing the wall or the window? Or would you prefer a seat that's not in the doorway so there's no draft? Helping autistic people to be part of your world isn't about following a rigid manual. It's about being flexible and direct and patient and considerate. When we adjust the way we interact, we don't just help someone else. We make our own world a much more inclusive and interesting place to be.
So thanks for joining me today. Hopefully you found this video interesting, so please do hit like and subscribe right now for more videos like this. If you want to know more, visit autisminfocenter.org for our latest articles, news, podcasts, resources and courses. There's no sign up, no adverts, we don't collect any data, and everything on our site is completely free. This has been Peter Clark from the Autism Info Center. See you next time.
Thanks for watching this Autism Infocast from autisminfocenter.org. Please like and subscribe for more great videos about autism and neurodiversity.